Welcome to my view of the stock market today, Monday, November 17th. I think it was like 9 or 10 Mondays in a row where the Nasdaq was green, and today we saw a little bit of more selling in the Nasdaq. And you saw the recent gains here of 62% from 14,784 to 24,019, and made that high on October 29th. And since then, we've had a 7% correction roughly to the from peak to trough there on Friday of 22,436. I have a trader friend. Actually, he's more of a strategist kind of guy, researcher. And he asked me, he says, after a 62% gain, do you think a 7%, 3 week pullback correction is enough? And, I said, well, the market's going to do what it wants to do. It's in a strong uptrend, but historically, no, it needs more time and it needs probably a little more, the market corrects through time and it corrects through price, and it probably needs more price correction. Also pointed out that, very rarely are lows made on Friday. And on Friday, I mentioned that we saw that low right away, and then short sellers came in, but it looks like there's more selling out there, more distribution for the Nasdaq today. It was down 192 points or 0.84%. The low of the session got to 22,559, which is just a little bit above the Friday low of 22,436. So it doesn't have very far to go to take out that low and maybe make a double bottom here. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that would be my expectation. But you just take it one day at a time. It closed today below the 50, so that's hands off for me. You know, it's just I'm yellow, market condition yellow below the 21, below the 50. I'm dead red. It's going to be very difficult to make trades and on the long side and the short side. Even the shorts today, in Meta, I've had my friend, and then he was bragging. Then all of a sudden, in the close, Meta, kind of rallied into the close, and he had to close his position because he didn't want to get, hammered. There you see Meta there. See. It's just very difficult to be short or long. Nice little rally there to, get to scare the shorts out of there. So yeah, the market's oversold. It could become more oversold. And below the 50, I'm just way more cautious. I know from past experience that your trades are going to be very challenging here on both sides. There's no confirmation either way. It's just a real choppy, messy market. And after a 62% gain in the Nasdaq, that's kind of what you expect. All right. So, yeah, like I said, the Nasdaq is now 0.6% below its 50, 1.9% below the 21, and it's just going to make trading tougher on both sides. I don't see clarity either way. I just want to point out, I showed you Meta. I want to point out NVIDIA, some of the big wigs, Peter Thiel, Wall Street folks selling out their position in NVIDIA. It doesn't matter. It just pulled back to its 50 today, closed just a tick above it. They're going to report on Wednesday, and all bets are off until they report really for the AI trade. Meta, I did mention Meta. It does look like a short, but it's getting pretty far extended to the downside, right? So a snapback wouldn't surprise me. Also, Microsoft looking like a short. I'm not looking to short stocks, just want to clarify that. But below the 50, you can't get back above. It trades down below, then takes forever to rally back up and just can't power through with any gusto. Amazon had news with Bezos. It sold off down to the 50 today. Apple. Rumors are swirling that Tim Cook's going to step down. It sold off down to its 21 today. Google had news that Berkshire Hathaway took a stake in it, and this is what I'm talking about here. Is yeah, it rallies up and then just sellers. There's just sellers. On anything that spikes up, they're selling. Most of the stocks that gapped higher recently have sold off. I'm going to get into that in a minute, but that's just the type of market that you have. It's not the same market as we had from April to October. It's changed in November, and so you have to change with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if that Friday bottom was it, and 7% is enough. And these Mag 7 stocks, well, excluding Tesla, of course, Tesla, but it's under the 50. It was up more than 1% today, while the rest of the market was pretty not doing so hot. So anyway, that's enough for the Mag 7 stocks. I've got to get to there's news this morning that Samsung reported that they are raising prices because demand is so strong. So the computer data storage plays we're ripping higher, and I think Samsung's probably taking market share from, well, anyway, I just want to point out that once again, you see this ramp up in the morning. What do? They just sell this thing all day long. So there's no power here. It couldn't make a new high above last week's high. I mean, it's a nice day, right? Up 4%, nearly 5% on the day when the Nasdaq was down. But watch MU here today, just rallied at the open, sold off all day long. Yeah, it's very bearish action here. There's just, yeah, anything that goes up, they're selling here. It's a little disturbing, very concerning for me. WDC, kind of the same thing. Western Digital is a parent company, spin-off, the mothership for SanDisk. Got a little bounce into the close, but you could see the selling all darn day long. And Seagate. Looks like it recovered into the close. Yeah, selling all day long, got a little bounce into the close, but you get my point. There's a lot of selling going on out there. Some other stocks that I was watching today, Celestica bounced off its 50 on Friday, just flat today, not bad, 0.5%. Sanmina, a little stronger, bounced off to 21 today, just down less than 1%. Those look okay, but these ones don't. The Palantir. Yeah, just below the 50. They got no strength. Robinhood, I was watching these to see if they could have any kind of momentum to the upside, and was no dice. Bloom, at least Bloom's above the 50. Had an inside day today, but just a lot of these companies and stocks are just, yeah, weak. Iris Energy, at least it had an inside day, closed below that 48.20 level, though. These things are very precarious here. CIFR doesn't look good. They're all below the 50. NBIS, same thing. CoreWeave. Yeah, this is just it's just a weak tape, and they're taking profits on a lot of stocks that ran up for a long time, and that stands to reason, right? That makes sense to me. I thought the commodity plays would do well, but they didn't do very well either. Some of them did okay, but the commodities were kind of down a little bit, and let me see if there's any other stocks that I could point to before I get to my, oh yes, people ask about A-Lab too. Just rough go over it. There's no strength, right? There's no buyers. It looks like a, double bottom type pattern, but you need some buyers to build the right side of that base to move through those moving averages. But, I wouldn't give up on that one. And the data center build out, Sterling made a low on Friday, rallied up a little bit. Weak again today, though. So there's just a lot of weakness out there. And CrowdStrike is another one that I was looking at, doing okay. I mean, it's above its 21, just had an inside day today, but yeah, it's just real rough out there, folks. So I did mention drugs is where it's at, right? Jazz, you can see the gap up here on trial data. I think phase 3 news. So, congrats to the longs there. Same with ZYME, nice gap higher, 29% move for Zymeworks. A couple more that I like in this group, INSM. They're on our, you can see it's just grinding higher. That's on our relative strength list, as is RVMD, Revolution Medicines, just, yeah, grinding higher, up 2% again today. IMNM, another one that I like, and have a readout soon. Yeah, it was up nearly 6% today. That's pretty darn good in this tape. ARQT, they had an announcement on Friday, had a big move Friday, followed through 4% today. Nice. On a day like today, 4% move is welcomed. NUVL had news. Gap Tire was up 11, 12% today. Very nice. Let's see how that close went. Yeah, a little selling into the close there. Anything that goes up, they have to sell it, right? Can't stand prosperity. ABVX is another one that I like in this tape. It's got this, ascending base type of pattern, as well as UTHR that's an ascending base. It was up more than 1% today. on a pretty tough day out there, folks. I think it's just best to be head for the bunkers and let these selling get out of the way here. RIGL forming a nice base here, getting a little extended from its 10 EMA, 12% above the 10, so it needs to calm down. But if it builds the right side of the base there, that's one that I'm looking at. GMED, not bad. That's one that gapped higher, holding its gains. Medical product stock, yeah, it's flagging nicely. So definitely one that I'm watching. MD, another one, just grinding higher. If I switch it to the five, you could see it's surfing the five and finding support at the five, but I'm not going to switch it. DNTH, another one in this medical biotech group, breaking out of a base here. That one looks good as well. ESTA. This is that silicone body shaping stock gapped higher. Now it's just us finding support at the 10. That one looks good to me as well. And so there's just a lot of medical biotech stocks that are doing well. And I'm just going to move on. I mentioned the commodities, and I was expecting, oil stocks are setting up nicely. Just an inside day for Valero. Dino, kind of setting up here, another inside day. Not saying these things are going to bust out and trade like SanDisk, but they're trading tight within a base near the moving averages. So, I kind of like that. EQT, um, down 1.4% today. Finding support at the 10. What was the other one? MPC. So, refiner, yeah, just consolidating here, not looking too bad. Down 2% on the session today, but yeah, the commodities, not really, right? Not really. Gold, I think, was down today a little bit. Barrick talking about splitting off into two companies, flat on the session. Flat is good when the market's down like it was today. DRD, this is a South African company, just finding support at the moving averages, kind of flat on the session. SSRM, this is one of the top performers this year, below the 50. Yeah, it's just a tough go out there, folks. I don't know what to tell you. A client posted a Albemarle, which is um, I don't know, okay, chemical specialty group, right? But you can see it's breaking out of this stage one base. So this one looks pretty good, especially those Darvis, Wyckoff, O'Neill traders, right? The Weinstein, stage one box there. It definitely looks like it's trying to bust out of there. So and it's got a long way to go after the stage four, decline. That's a long way down. So for it to move out of there, that looks pretty good. PRM is another one of these chemical plays. Yeah, trading higher on the daily. Yeah, finding support at the 10. That looks pretty good. SGML, this is a mining play as well. Lithium. Lithium is not that rare earth material, but yeah, 32% today. So anyway, I guess I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Just it's a tough market, and when we see these gaps higher, give up all the gains, and immediately that tells you. I showed you week after week after week these stocks that were gapping higher and holding their gains and gapping and going. Now they're gapping and crapping. So that tells you that we're in a different market now. And you have to make the adjustments. You can't just sit in your stocks, especially these growth stocks, and expect them to recover or just come back because that you're going to be sitting on 30, 40, 50% losses, and that is not fun. And there's a lot of them that, gapped up recently and just giving up their gains. Is Expedia here in the last 2 days, giving it back. XPEV, the automaker, Chinese automaker, yeah, gap up and just give it all back right to the 50. Just horrible action. Howard Hughes Holdings, gap up on this date and give it all back. And that's where the market has changed. It was shifted 11% move on the 10th, and here we are, just giving it all back. That's really rough. TLS, the cybersecurity name, gapped higher on, wow, what day is this? The 10th, yeah, 22% move and give it all back and then some, underwater, under everything. That hurts me. I mean, but it's an indication of the type of market that we're in. That's all. Solar Edge, same thing. Gap up, give it all back. Gap and crap. Guardian, gap and crap. This is, yeah, really disappointing. But it's the market that we're in, so I just wanted to point that out. I could do this all day. I don't want to because it's too depressing. But also, anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. And on to the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing. When we have these, which I just pointed out, these, these cup with handle patterns, these bases, and it doesn't matter what stock it is. This is a pattern that is a double top. You're going to hear people say these are double tops, and double tops are going to crash and burn. You can see that it's done this before. I don't know what to tell you that I'll just go back to Cisco Systems here and just show you that, of the model book stocks, I'm going to go to 7/11, 1991, and come on, 7/11 for Cisco Systems. Why is it not doing this? Because I'm in the wrong stock. That's why, you dummy. Cisco Systems, and I'm going to go to the date and show because all the model book stocks, pretty much 99% of them started as cup with handles or double top bases, right? Or maybe even have to go further back or even further back than that. How we go to 1990 and go from the beginning where it started? Uh, I think I do have to go to 7/11, 1990. How about that? Oh, well, I should have written this down. There it is. There's your cup with handle pattern. And people say this is a double top in Cisco. Right? And it is. It's a double top, but it's a cup with handle, right? And it broke out. And if I go to the weekly, you're going to see a lot of cup with handles. And I just want to point out that if you, it did okay, right? A lot of the model book stocks and how to make money in stocks, you can look at some of the biggest winners of all time, which Cisco is. They all started with a cup with handle pattern, which is a double top. Here's a consolidation that's a double top. There's your double top. There's your double top. All along to what? Top here. Oh, it went higher. Yeah, you go to 1999, just all along the way. There's your double top. And it went higher. And then it made another double top. And you get the idea that when, I just want to point out most of the model book stocks are double tops. They start as double top cup with handle patterns, and that's just the way it goes. So whenever I post a chart and I'll go to today's date, and we do have there's not many stocks right now that are set up in bases. That's really hard to find any of them, but they're going to be double tops. And that's where they start. And even if I go to one of the hotter stocks in the market right now is SanDisk that started off as a double top here. All right. And if I look at the daily on this, I think it'll show it here. Yeah, this right here, 58, came back to 58 as a double top. Then did it crash and burn? No, it didn't. It went on to, whatever it is, a six bagger. So you can't be afraid of double tops. Yeah, I don't know because I just got into a debate this weekend with somebody, and yeah, I mean, if you want to short those, go ahead, be my guest. But those model book stocks, and I could do a whole video on it. I'm not going to though. That most of these model books, like Amgen and Home Depot and all the Walmart, the big winners, they started as a cup with handle patterns. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. You're going to have to wait till Wednesday afternoon for NVIDIA report to get anything, I think, positive direction in this market, down a little bit after hours. AMD is another one that I like. It just pulled back to its 21 today. Yeah, I think the 21 was 240 and change today for AMD. Yeah, 21, 241. So, uh, you're just gonna have this market's gonna test your patience. Um, and you're just going to have to wait for better opportunities because right now, like I said, we had a 62% gain in the Nasdaq, and it's just going to chop around. It's going to be very tough. I think if you're it's going to test your discipline. It's going to test your sit out ability, your ability to be patient. And if you don't have that ability, you're probably going to lose money. You're going to get chopped up in trades day after day. And that's just kind of the market that we're in. So if you can't just sit back and go fishing or hiking or swimming or gardening or whatever you do, maybe in the north, you got to snowplow the driveway. But whatever you do, trading stocks, you're just going to have to be very quick on the short side and the long side. That's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.